Hey, what's going on, guys? So I wanted to make this quick video today. At least I think it's quick. I hope it's quick. I always say that in all my videos and they end up being so long. But 343 put out a new MCC dev blog update the other day, and it was a pretty lengthy blog. They spent most of it talking about bugs and their process in which they identify bugs and they fix them. But there's two things in particular that I want to discuss from this blog. So those two things are input-based matchmaking and regional server selection being added to MCC. Oh, and also crossplay. Crossplay for MCC on PC and Xbox. So crossplay is something that many have felt, should have been added to MCC a while ago, back when Reach first came to PC. But I'm glad that they are finally adding this. Crossplay is good for MCC. The population right now for MCC on PC and MCC on Xbox is pretty low. It's hard to find games. In certain playlists, you can't get games at all. So crossplay should definitely help that. But they kind of void the benefits of crossplay by adding input-based matchmaking and regional server selection. It's already really tough to find games in certain playlists in MCC as is, because the player base is so divided. I talked about this in a previous video. Because of something like the match composer, it gives players so much control, too much control over what they want to play. There's so many different options. There's around like 130 different options you can select, different hoppers that you can search between the ranked playlist and the match composer. That's way too much. Like I said in my other video, I'm a fan of a couple ranked playlists and a couple social playlists. I'm not a huge fan of the match composer, although I do understand why there's a match composer in MCC, because it's a collection of a bunch of different games. But regardless, the player base is spread way too thin, and that's why it's so hard to get games as is. But crossplay should help that, because the roughly 3,000 people on MCC Xbox will now be able to match with the 6,000 to 10,000 people on MCC PC. And I didn't just make those numbers up. If you check Steam charts or SteamDB, you can see how many players are playing MCC on Steam. And as for MCC on Xbox, MCC is not on the most played games list for Xbox games. And Black Ops 2 is on that list towards the bottom. I think it's, I forget what spot it is, but Black Ops 2 has a population counter. And when I checked a couple weeks ago, Black Ops 2, its population was 4,000 people on it. Well, if that's on the most played games list, and MCC is not on there, then that means there has to be less than 4,000 people on MCC. So I think it's around 3,000, maybe less people playing MCC on Xbox. But yeah, crossplay should definitely help with that. People should be finding games in more playlists with faster queue times. But now that 343 is implementing input-based matchmaking and server selection into MCC, well, I mean, the player base is divided even more now. And I think that division is going to hurt MCC much more than crossplay is going to help it. Like, let's just look at a ranked playlist in MCC where you have party matching and players being matched together based on similar skill. Well, now there's going to be even more restrictions as to who can match who. Because you're going to have, with input-based matchmaking, people can choose to only match others who are using mouse and keyboard, or only match others who are using a controller. And with regional server selection, you can choose a server you want to get. So if two people are searching and they have different servers selected, they're not gonna match each other. That is just, I don't know, man. That's way too much division. I don't know if that's a good thing. And I'm not actually against input-based matchmaking or server selection. I think those are good things to have in a game. But with MCC's population, I don't think that's gonna help. I think that's gonna do way more harm than it does good. And real quick, I want to discuss something else about input-based matchmaking. First off, I'm not sure if this is like going to be an option where you can select if you only want to match others who are using the same input as you, or if it's just automatically implemented into the game and you have no control over it. And also, is it going to be possible to switch input methods once you're in a game? Like, if I want to only match with mouse and keyboard players, can I switch to a controller in the middle of the game? I don't know exactly how that works or how that's handled in other games that have input-based matchmaking. I would hope that wouldn't be a thing, because that would kind of defeat the purpose. And if there is actually a system in place that prevents players from switching their input method in the middle of a game, whether that means it kicks you out of the game or just won't let you play with the other input method, well, then I wonder, is there going to be some external program you can download that's a workaround? Like, I know there's some programs such as Gamepad or Duranzo, I think that's how you say it, which allows people to play PC games with a controller that don't actually have controller support in the game. Now, to my knowledge, with these programs, if you use these, it's not true controller support you're getting, it's kind of just emulating a mouse and keyboard. So when you're moving and looking around with your controller, it's not actual controller movement and controller aim, it's just emulating the movement and aim from a mouse and keyboard. And also, you don't get aim assist when using those programs. But all I'm saying is, if they're implementing input-based matchmaking, then it's gotta work. There can't be no workarounds where you can say, hey, I just want to match mouse and keyboard players, and then you switch to a controller once you're in the game, because then that's a big problem. Then you have an even bigger problem than you do now, where everybody can match everybody. But yeah, that's pretty much my thoughts on this. Crossplay is great, and input-based matchmaking and server selection is also great. But like I said, I'm not totally against input-based matchmaking, but I really hope it is an option that players can choose. I hope it's just not automatically implemented into the game and players have no choice over if they want to match the other input or not. And also, I'm not a fan of input-based matchmaking for a game with this low of a population and this many different playlists and hoppers that people can search. But yeah, that's my thoughts on everything. Crossplay is a good thing, but I don't think the addition of crossplay is going to boost the game in population enough to have things like input-based matchmaking and regional server selection. So yeah, that's the video, guys. I didn't talk about the entire dev blog because, like I said, most of it was just about bugs, but there was some other cool things in there, like a custom game browser that's coming. The flights for Halo 3 PC should be starting soon. I think they said the early weeks of June. So we do have that to look forward to. Hopefully Halo 3 does good on PC. I'm praying for it. I know a lot of you are too. This game needs to launch and in a flawless state. I mean, it can have tiny issues here and there. That's fine. That's to be expected. But I mean, it can't release like fucking Halo 2 did. That's just that can't happen again. I mean, even the Halo 2 launch was unacceptable. But yeah. Oh, and also, speaking of Halo 2, I wanted to say real quick that all the bugs that were present with the launch of Halo 2 on PC, the bugs for Halo 2 and the bugs for Halo 3, have now been fixed. They've been fixed for about a week now, I think. And I was going to make a follow-up video to my Halo 2 and 3 bugs video that I put out a couple weeks ago. I was going to make a follow-up saying that, hey, everything's fixed now. I mean, that doesn't really justify the bugs being there in the first place, but I decided not to make a video because it would have just been a 30-second video of me saying, hey guys, the bugs are fixed, and that would have pretty much been it. But anyways, that's the video. My socials are in the description. I don't like saying that, but I feel like I should. They're there if you guys want to check them out, my Twitch and everything, whatever. But yeah, that's gonna be it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.